Kastuba Das here with the big announcement for Wisdom of the Sages listeners. This August will be Ashram Month at the Super Soul Farm. Simple ashram living, rising early, morning kirtan, yoga and pranayama, healthy vegan and vegetarian meals, farm seva and being immersed in nature, and then gathering in the evenings for kirtan and readings. Plus, each week we'll have a lead presenter teaching a different facet of the philosophy and lifestyle of Bhakti Yoga. Week number 1 will be the exceptional Bhakti Lata teaching a course called The Beauty of Bhakti, bringing the culture of love and devotion into our lives. Week number 2 is my brother from another mother, Raghunath, teaching Falling in Love with Divinity, the Bhakti Yogi's method for opening the heart. And week number 3 is myself with a course called Following the Path, examining the history and teachings of Bhakti Yoga. You can come for 1, 2, or all 3 weeks, and the pricing is by donation. For more dates and information, go to wisdomofthesages.com/events. Peace.
Live from sunny Costa Rica, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustubh Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to sunny Costa Rica. Last day of my teeth surgery, Mara's teeth surgery. Doing good. Doing good.
Managed to sleep last night?
Yeah. I have my pain medication regulated, but they're going in deep. I got a lot. I got like 5 crowns. It was good. Thanks for everybody. Stop writing me, everybody, on my personal email address. Just write to Wisdom of the Sages, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com, and just put teeth if you want to know. Because you get to come here and you get to eat fruit, and we've been doing yoga every day, eating smoothies every day. And if I didn't have to get back, I'd go on. Well, it's rainy season now, but I'd head to the beach.
All right,
Ever been to Costa Rica, Kaustubh?
Never.
Wisdom of the Sages retreat in Costa Rica. Let's do it.
Okay.
Gopal Krishnadas can organize the whole damn thing. Or Cindy Lunsford. She goes there all the time.
Okay.
All right. Everything good in New York?
Announcements?
Anything in New York?
Everything's good in New York. We got Laura Marco here and Akiko G, and we may all go out to the beach tomorrow,
Oh.
Because they're staying at Coney Island.
Oh, nice.
Jewel of Harlem may come too, from what I hear.
A little Zoom party. Didn't invite us.
You're invited, but you're just not here.
Hey, Wisdom of the Sages retreat. Let's do this 4th of July. We're handing out pillows to the first 10 people that come. It's going to be a pillow fight, vegan marshmallows, weenie roast, vegan meatballs. 4th of July at Super Soul Farm. Go to wisdomofthesages.com, register. We want to see everybody. We're looking forward to seeing everybody. And I think
that's going to be a summer highlight.
It's going to be a summer highlight, chilling with our people.
Yeah.
And I think it's kid friendly too.
Definitely.
Just go to the website and ask questions. And Radhe, Rachel. We really got to get Rachel initiated. We can't keep calling her Radhe, Rachel.
Okay. Now, any other announcements? There's no show tomorrow, right? We got to make sure that's out there.
And then we're on Saturday and Sunday. I'm super excited for Jeffrey Armstrong, Kapinja Rishi. That's Sunday's interview day. And I think after that, we'll go back to our 6 a.m. time slot.
Okay.
So we're wrapping up Gratitude Week.
Oh, yeah, because we don't have a show tomorrow. There's so many more gratitude nuggets that I had. But in any case, these are good ones.
I think it's the first step towards spiritual realization. Doesn't matter if you're on any path or if you're an agnostic or an atheist or whatever. It's sort of like the first step is to start to realize like the whole world isn't working against me. It's not, I gotta stop
Right.
blaming my externals for what's going on inside of me internally. So I think it's like, it's the beginning of spirituality. It's not just, it's not like Bhakti Yoga owns the monopoly and the patent pending on gratitude and appreciation. It's something when people first step out of their world of materialism. I'd call materialism is just like me first, just like we say me first in the gimmies. Me first in the gimmies. That's pure materialism. And because there's it's a long bridge to get to pure bhakti or pure devotion. The Vedic culture is so incredibly nuanced that it goes different ways that you can get out of your own selfish head. And it comes a long way. And the first, I think of this first part is appreciate. It's not all about me. There's other things happening in my life. Let's start with the sun. Let's start with the earth. Let's start with the food that we eat. Why don't you start quoting me, Kastuba? I got a lot of important things to say too. Bhagavatam. Let's start with the sun.
Well, you're thinking like a like Tecumseh.
Say who? Say what?
Tecumseh. That's who you're thinking like right now. Who's a Shawnee chief?
Oh, Shawnee chief. Tecumseh. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear what he has to say.
Okay, here's what Tecumseh
So,
says.
by the way, so I had these nuggets. I had all these nuggets about gratitude. Some of them were like saying what an important part of character it is. Like, for instance, Aesop said, "Gratitude is the sign of a noble soul." Right.
Oh.
I had a whole collection of like character-related gratitude nuggets. I had nuggets that were identifying gratitude as a higher state of consciousness. We had gratitude nuggets that were like wisdom advice, like we were talking yesterday: forget injuries, never forget kindness, things like that.
Yeah.
We had nuggets about how
gratitude month.
We really should. We had gratitude nuggets about how gratitude makes life better. If you have that attitude of gratitude, automatically your life becomes better. But today's nuggets had to do with seeing how special otherwise ordinary things are, being grateful for the so-called ordinary things, recognizing how special they are.
Ever look at a mango? A dragon fruit? Guanabana? Ever look at a guanabana?
The Mexican mangoes just came in over here on the corner, They seem like tops. I mean, they're just so good. They're so big and like so. I mean, they're just incredible.
Just a fruit in itself. The fact that the creator, call the creator whatever you want, created things that nourish. They don't and taste delicious. They don't have to taste delicious, right? We can just be like, okay, it's time to eat the bugs again.
And they grow on trees.
And they have seeds in them. In case you like them, we're going to give you a way to grow more of them. It's like that in itself. If you just meditate on that concept, you become so appreciative. Like wow.
We call that reflection. I did a whole thing on this, Raghunath, when we were upstate last. I gave a whole talk on reflection, and like when you eat, that you reflect when you eat. That where the water came from, right? It came from the ocean.
I was going to go to that class, but I was actually reflecting.
I think that may have been the class where we all got COVID, so you may have been better off. but
super spreaders of the holy name.
But you think about how the water travels from like this salt water collection is the ocean, and the salt is preserving the water, right? And then it gets distilled and then lifted into the air in the form of a cloud. And then the wind blows it, and that's by the forces of the sun, right? And then the wind blows that cloud over the land. It releases all that weight, it's like just tons and tons and tons of weight of water up there just floating around, Then it comes down, that water enters the earth, and as it goes to the earth, it's picking up the minerals from the earth and the flavors, the flavors and all the nutrients. And then you have two different seeds right in the same ground, right? But with a different genetic code.
A genetic code.
With each one has a different genetic code. So they're pulling up the same water. There's a jiva, there's a soul inside that seed, and it has the power to pull water, up, suck it up.
Hashtag that soul in the seed.
Suck it up, and then
suck it up. Hashtag suck it up.
And then one seed is a watermelon, and it's taking that water and turning it into this delicious, sweet, fruity flesh that's just full of certain vitamins.
Okay, pause that realization. Because
let me finish it.
Just pause it. We can keep going with it. I don't want to lose watermelon.
All right.
See, here's the thing. The watermelon is first of all, is delicious.
Yes.
And second of all, it's not just delicious. It's very pleasant and beautiful to look at. Sure. It doesn't have to be pink. Imagine if everything we ate was just black as coal. Oh, okay. Get the broccoli, black broccoli. Black
color.
It's beautiful.
It's got fragrance.
It's got fragrance.
It's got nutrition. It's maintaining us, right? So then you have another seed, a bitter melon, right? You have a watermelon growing right next to a bitter melon.
Yeah.
Bitter melon has a completely different look. a completely different
and a
shape.
cool look. It's like an outer space look.
Gnarly. Yeah. And then it got an very different flavor.
Different and nutritious. And by the way,
And
don't let them fool you, because modern nutritionists will say, actually, watermelons have very little nutrition. No, don't let. Here's the deal. It's got nothing. We try to understand health and nutrition through our very, very thin, right? Our very thin understanding. We by breaking things apart and dissect. Well, it's got vitamin A. It doesn't have enough vitamin B. It got enough. Check it out. There's different things that make you healthy, right? Just smelling that thing will make you healthy. Eating that thing will make you happy. That's got something to do with it too. It's not just like it doesn't have this vitamin or that vitamin. Trust me, the vitamin theory is going to be thrown out in 25 years.
Oh, here we go with prophecy again.
Prophecy.
I've had enough of prophet, Raghunath. It's good. Okay.
They're just theories. There were healthy people. There were doctors in cultures all over the world who knew nothing about vitamins or superfood. They just knew what to do.
Okay, thank you. My point is, there are vitamins. The vitamins are valuable. There's fiber. There's so many nutritional elements in it.
Men.
There's so many nutrients. But my point is this: is that from that same earth, there's so many. And those, where do the minerals come from? They come from the mountains, right? It's like a big chunk of minerals, and when the rain comes down, it's just gathering those minerals and bringing them down through the rivers, to the land, and then it just saturates the land with all those minerals. And then that little watermelon seed is pulling in all those nutrients, and with its own special genetic code is turning it into a delicious watermelon that's preserved in that thick shell, right?
Yeah, it's got insulation. Without the shell, it'd be like, I can't eat this one. This one's destroyed. The shell, it's like already packaged for us.
It's an
banana. You can't even think of a better container than a banana peel.
It's got a big insulation around it, right? It's almost like a cooler around it,
Yeah.
And then the bitter melon, it's got a totally different flavor, and it does something completely different for your body. And then when you eat that watermelon and you put it on your tongue, right? Then your body responds to that flavor, and it releases certain enzymes in your saliva, which begin to break it down. Specifically that, because when you eat the bitter melon, different enzymes, manifest in your saliva to break that down differently, right? And then ultimately, it ends up in your stomach. And how is it digested? According to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am that fire of digestion.
The Jataragni, the fire of digestion. There's a fire in the body that digests it. It's not like you're just eating it and then it just sits there. It gets digested.
And
we don't even know what. And now you're just explaining the things that like scientists knows about. Then there's things we don't even know about.
Subtle.
We're just like trying to figure out
channels of energy in the body.
Channels of energy in the body, and what to speak of in the universe and the cosmos, and how all the other planets are affecting the benefit. Right, like the old farmers knew when to plant, how when planting affects is going to affect the yield, etc. And they plant according to the moon or the tides or etc. The farmer's almanac. Now we're just planting monocropping.
They know how to rotate the crops and all that.
They don't have to do crop rotation because they're doing partner planting. You're not killing the soil. Anyway, there's so much magic going on, and it starts with appreciation.
Well, I recommend, and we talked about this in when we were upstate. Do this once per day. Right? Just try once per day where you sit, when you take your meal, take it quietly by yourself.
I love when Kostuba gets all nature boy. Take off your shoes. Pick your shoes off.
Can I get through one thought without you interrupting me? Can I please? It was going so well upstate. I could just talk and like complete thoughts, Okay, thank you, Raghunath. So my point is, try this even once per day. Even if you did it once every other day, if you just sit down and when you eat, and this is the way brahmanas eat, right? Quietly, and chew the food thoroughly and think about where it came from, and think about how magical that is, and how magical what's happening in your body at that moment is, and appreciate that you are really not doing anything. It's all being done for you. And then feel gratitude.
Yes.
But even chewing, how can you chew without Krishna empowering you to chew?
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
Okay.
What am I doing?
But what to speak of digestion, right?
We're
It's like
desiring.
we're just-
Yeah.
yeah. Gratitude,
Did you,
Raghunath.
did you get to the point of taking off your shoes yet? You
What do
didn't
you
even get there. You were just
Taking off
saying
your shoes when you eat?
Oh no.
What?
I thought you were going to get your whole spiel about every day, go out there and walk barefoot and observe the negative ions from the. You didn't get
I
there.
was just working. Oh, I hope you weren't talking about that video I sent you yesterday.
No. That was funny. Me and Costu would just send each other videos all day long.
Especially of gurus, various types of gurus. And
you know
one
what?
was-
Thank God. After you sent me that video, it's a total bogus guru guy just spouting off crazy stuff. But like after you sent that, I was like, thank God for the Bhagavatam.
Oh,
because if you're sick of Western culture, Abrahamic traditions, or a fear-based religion, you might say, I'm going to turn east, and you could totally stumble in to 100% bogus guru. Like this guy we were watching yesterday.
I mean, I can't believe anybody swallows that stuff.
Well, you know what? Sometimes people, I know somebody
American-
who did or listens to the show. I'm not going to say who, but,
Okay. All right.
but all I'm saying is if you're looking for a change, well, this guy offers a change, but it's just all bogus. So that's why we need to read the Bhagavatam. It develops intelligence and discernment. Otherwise, we're just looking for something. He seems like he's part of a tradition. He's quoting Sanskrit.
He was the character.
He's such a freaking character.
Raghunath, careful. What did you just say?
I know I said freaking.
Okay, all right. So,
That-
yeah,
that
but that was funny. But he said that thing where he says like, when you walk barefoot on the earth, then Mother Bhumi is, what did he say? She's scanning your body and determining exactly what your body needs, and then putting that into the food. Right?
Yeah,
It was. I thought you could borrow a little from that, Raghunath. You probably.
Okay, I can borrow that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get on to the Bhagavatam. This has been
No.
good.
We still haven't read the nuggets
Oh,
yet.
we got a nugget.
Yeah.
We got a nugget. We got
This is
appreciation
from-
nuggets.
Tecumseh.
This is from Tecumseh, the Shawnee. What's up with the Shawnees? Were they all geniuses? Were they all deep and filled with wisdom? There was not one rogue Shawnee out there.
There may have
They
been.
all seem very wise.
We're only hearing from one of them.
Okay, that's a good point. They should have a rogue Shawnee collection.
Okay, Raghunath. Let's hear the quote.
When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the morning light, for your life and strength. Give thanks for your food and the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies with yourself. Boom. That's a great one.
Right?
If you can't appreciate things, you got a serious problem. I'm not pointing at anybody. I'm actually just,
Okay.
I'm just pointing sort of at myself. If I can't get into this thing of appreciation, why? Because it's a practice, and you got to practice appreciating things before you suck down your coffee or eat your toast or whatever you're eating or whatever you're doing. If I can't get into the head of appreciation, it means I'm not practicing it enough.
That's right.
Okay.
Where's your
What's
sense of
this?
wonder in life, right?
Yeah. All right. You want to hear another one from Lao Tzu?
Yes.
What do you know about Lao Tzu?
He was a Chinese philosopher.
Alrighty.
I can't give you too much more than that.
A lot of very
Highly
wise-
respected. I think the Tao comes from him. The Tao.
The Tao comes from Lao.
Mm-hmm.
If you look to others for fulfillment,
Oh, come
You
on,
will-
Raghunath. Pull yourself together, okay?
if you look at others for fulfillment, you will never be fulfilled. You know what? That is a shirt in itself. Thank you, Lao. That is a shirt in itself. If you look for others for fulfillment, you will never be fulfilled.
Excellent.
You could drop the mic and the show right there. Meditate on that all day, people. You need nothing else today. But I'm going to continue anyway.
Oh, that reminds me of another nugget. Go ahead. Keep going.
If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. But I need money. Be content with what you have. You know, I will say, Kastuba, that was the joy of being a brahmachari, a monk, because we had no money.
It simplifies everything.
It was truthfully the funnest time of our
It gets you
life.
focused, right?
It gets you really focused, and you realize, like, I don't need a closet full of crapola.
What
Does
about
anybody have a
the
closet
sneakerheads?
full of crapola at home? Or a garage? If you have a home, a garage full of crapola? You don't need it. It could be the best thing you do is to get rid of stuff,
Why don't
give
you
it
do
in
a
charity,
garage? Why don't
burn
you
it.
do a garage sale this weekend, Raghunath?
You know, it takes help to empty my basement. I need help. I could actually. Maybe I should.
Do a garage sale.
You think my garage is full of crapola? All right, let's go on with this.
Yeah, I don't think I know.
It is. I have crapola. I want to get rid of it. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. And when you realize there is nothing lacking, the world belongs to you.
There you go. Right? In other words, you're being controlled you're being owned by the world until you come to this realization, right? It's pulling you around. It's directing. The world doesn't belong to you. It's not something that you have no control.
Right. Your stuff owns you.
Your stuff owns you. Yeah.
How nice it is traveling the world with very little. It's such a nice, liberating feeling.
Yeah.
You have no burdens, no worry. People are thinking. I remember the toughest time. I mentioned this on the show when I lived in New York City and had that big apartment. I had a real cheap rent-controlled apartment, and then we couldn't live in New York City anymore because it was just too tough on our family. So we rented a house upstate. And now it's like, wow, this is like what every wealthy person in New York City wants. They want that whole house upstate, that house in the city. Now I've got the best of both worlds, all the cultural gifts that New York City has to offer my children, as well as I can make money living in the city. And then I have my country estate where I go on the weekends. No, completely wrong. It was the most exhausting, taxing, worrisome feeling ever. Where if you have two homes, that's double trouble. You always got to worry. Hey, but you got the neighbor calling you up. Hey, you got a leak in your house. I can see from the road that a tree went down on your property. Just like it's more and more worries. We think these things give us freedom. Simplify. Freedom comes from simple life. We're only here a few days. Think what's important. Think what's really, really important. Get focused on that.
There you go. We're only here a few days. I like what you said about traveling with very little, because, and we've talked about this in the past too, right? People travel and think, now I'm going to find the happiness when I travel, right? I got to leave my job, get away from it, because that's the cause of misery in life. I got to go travel and go to a different place because there's more fun to be had in other places. Life is going to get exciting and wonderful when I go to these other places. It doesn't necessarily work that way, particularly when you travel with a lot of stuff, right? It just makes it just brings on anxiety. You got all these bags. You're worried if you're going to lose it, if someone's going to steal. But I remember once, Raghunath, I was traveling I was a brahmachari, I was a monk, and I was traveling. I was going to travel by myself from Delhi to Calcutta, like that Rajdhani.
Yeah, I've done that. We've done that.
It's like a 36-hour train ride or so, right? But it turns into much more. It turned into like a 48-hour train.
It never is 36 hours.
It just stops.
It just stops in a field.
Yeah, it just stops.
And no one complains.
They don't tell you why. They don't.
Imagine if the train stopped. Imagine if Amtrak just stopped for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You'd have every New Yorker up in arms. Everyone in India is just like, okay, it's stopping. That's all right.
Yeah, it's only 4 hours. This is nothing. So anyway, so I got to the train station in Delhi, and I ran into a sannyasi, Bhaktivedanta Swami, right?
Oh, nice.
And like as a brahmachari, like he's a senior monk, I'm a junior monk. So you go when you see each other. Hey, Maharaj, very happy to see you. I'm here. You offer yourself like I'm your servant for this ride, right? It's like if there's anything
he's on
to do.
The train with you? He's on the
train.
He
was taking the same train as I was. Yeah. And so it's, do you have a bag I can take? That's how that's kind of the etiquette. How the
That's the etiquette. Let me carry your bag.
Yeah. And so then he said, oh, no. And I'm like, oh, and I'm looking like, where is your bag? And he said, oh, and all he traveled with, he had he walked around on those wooden shoes, right? Clip clops.
Clip clops, you call them? That's funny.
I call them clip clops.
You call them clip clops?
Yes, clip clops.
You know what they're called, right?
They're called the clip clop club.
Quizmara. You know what those wooden shoes are called?
Padukas.
Ooh, she got it.
Oh, nice, man. Nice.
Duke. It's pain for the foot.
Paduka. And so he's walking around in his padukas, and he's got just like a lungi, like just a one cloth wrapped around his waist, and then he had two thick chudders, right? that were just, one he can wear as a turban, one he can wear as a he could do it in different variations, like what he does. Those are his blankets, those are his chairs, those are his turban, that's his coat, his shirt. It becomes whatever he wants it to become,
That is the beauty of Vedic culture. It's made simple.
Yeah. And then other than that, all he had was in his underarm. Like he had this like tiny little bag, was like when like ladies go, like when like ladies go out, like, and they just want that tiny little purse, they just with their makeup or whatever they put in there. It's like it's like a not much bigger than your hand. He had a little thing like that just hung over his shoulder and went right under his arm, and you couldn't even see it practically. And that's, he had like, I don't know what, he had a toothbrush in there and a tongue scraper and like practically nothing else. That was all he had. That's how he moved around.
It's called a clutch.
But imagine, the joy in that, right? It's just like, I'm not, nothing's weighing me down.
Nothing's weighing you down. You're not lugging around stuff. Since we've been in Costa Rica, it's monsoon time here. So the weather's not great. You can't go to you can go to the beaches. It's just not. So, me and Mara, I'm going to the dentist every day, back and forth. It's a short little japa walk there. But it's like, when there is free time, we're just like, should we do something adventurous? Like get a car? And then we're just like, nah, let's just do what we're doing. We're doing yoga. We do, the show. We do japa, and we find fresh fruit. And that's it. And you know what? It's great. You need not do anything else. And truthfully, I travel all over the world. I've been everywhere. And everywhere I go, all I want is find fresh fruit, find a place to do japa, find a place to do yoga. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just it. It's just it. If you have those basics, find a place to read the Bhagavatam. And then I was appreciating the show, because to read the Bhagavatam alone, it's just not the same. It's to read it with the group and to go through this and this accountability. So it's just nice. It's just nice. You don't need much in this material world. You just need the basics.
And when you get in that frame of mind, then your mind will start to connect with higher things, with deeper things, with more profound things. As Plato said, ready?
Hit me, Plato.
A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts itself to great things. Should I say that again?
Okay. Read that again.
A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts itself to great things. In other words, as long as your mind is thinking, I need this, I need that, I'm not grateful for this because I don't have that. And your mind will not attach itself to great things. You won't go into great thought. You'll always be absorbed in the surface level, day after day, miserable thought, just goes on and on and on, boring, redundant.
And it's those basic things that actually fulfill us. And it's the desires that keep us on this treadmill, this never ending chasing the carrot treadmill. It just complicates our life more.
Okay.
All right. I think we figured out the mystery of life today. There's nothing else to be said.
Well, when you said that,
true. These are the mysteries of life.
When you read that nugget, it said, if you look to others for fulfillment, you will never be fulfilled. And you said, that's enough right there. We could just end the show. That's enough. Right. And this is from Meister Eckhart. Meister Eckhart.
Meister Eckhart. Who was he? Meister Eckhart, Mara? Look him up, please.
Meister Eckhart?
No, it's not Eckhart Tolle. Meister Eckhart's some other guy.
He says, if the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice.
Oh, because I'm doing 16 rounds of thank you today. Because Meister Eckhart has ordered me.
No, but think about it. If you chanted that round with gratitude in your heart.
Thank you. Well, that's how we chant too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I chant my japa like thank you.
That's very good.
Mr. Eckhart was a German Catholic theologian, philosopher, and mystic.
I don't want to hear mystic unless they can levitate or Shiva lingams out of their mouth.
And one last one, Roghunath. Again, from our old friend, the Prince of Paradox, G.K. Chesterton.
Prince of Paradox.
You like that? I knew you would like that.
It's like I'm picturing some British guy in tights and a poofy bottom. And
No, he's
like
a British guy,
buckled
kind of a
shoes.
portly British guy with like a top hat and all that, I think.
Okay.
G.K. Chesterton, the Prince of Paradox. He says, I would maintain that thanks are the highest form of thought and that gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder.
Gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder. Hashtag that.
Right? Like when you're eating the watermelon, there's happy, but when you have the gratitude and the wonder of how
There you
unique
go.
and special it came to you, right?
There you go.
That's what we're
I'm
talking
appreciating the Wisdom of the Sages community we have. If you want to join us on Zoom, go to wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com, and the secret codes will be sent to you via
about. They'll be
Mara.
revealed to you.
It'll be revealed to you. You can just say revealed. And yeah.
All right.
Tell your friends, everybody. This is how this stuff works. You tell friends about it. It's Tell a Friend Thursday.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into the
Chant those mantras of gratitude.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Madatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Hit it, Mara.
Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 22, Text 15.
But I think we wanted to repeat text 14 this morning.
Ooh, good memory.
Yes. I'm going to tell you something before we read this verse, Raghunath.
Tell me.
There's a mystery of the universe revealed in this verse. In other words, if you just came into this universe and you didn't know what was going on, if someone shared with you this message, you're like way ahead of practically everybody else. It's like
the rest of the people are just eating and killing. Are you kidding?
I know, it's like that. You get this. You've gone a long way towards understanding what life is all about, making the most of it. It's a mystery.
I want to apologize to everybody the other day. Mara was like, you did start the show the other day with torture. I apologize. Sometimes things come out of my mouth. I don't even realize what's coming out, but it always sometimes.
You can end the show with torture, but
I can end the show. Better to end the show with torture. Okay. I apologize for those who just don't need me in the morning. Okay.
Hit it.
All right. So hit it.
This is
14.
Yeah, this is Prithu Maharaj speaking to the four Kumars, the child sages.
Okay. Prithu Maharaj continued. My dear sirs, there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. The mental concoction of the auspicious and inauspicious does not exist in you. There we go. Spiritual life is outside this world of good and bad, auspicious or inauspicious, good karma and bad karma. There is no good or bad karma for the devotee.
Yeah. And it's saying that our ideas, it's saying auspicious and inauspicious. But we can understand that as like, sometimes it's translated more like good and bad, right? But it's saying that our conceptions of good and bad, and again, we're not talking about morality here, but we're talking about, in other words, this will be good for my happiness, this will be bad for my happiness, right? We go through life, and part of our mind is its function is to identify good and bad, right? It's called the manas, right? This will bring me happiness, this won't. This is attractive, this is unattractive. You know, I want this, I don't want that. When I get this, I'll be happy. When I avoid that, you know, then I'll be happy. That programming is impulsive, right? It has nothing to do with reasoning. It has nothing to do, it's like an instant thing that takes place in the mind. And what's being said here by Prita Maharaj is you people, your Atmarama, right? Your happiness, it says Atma Arameshu, one who is always engaged in spiritual bliss, right? Your source of bliss is your very self. It is your very nature. You've realized that it's what most people don't get in life. So rather than relish the joy of their own existence, they seek for happiness through external things. Right?
Yeah. You know, while you were gone, I remember the other day where you couldn't do it for the show for some reason, and I did it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We had this whole thing about the woos of the world. Remember that, Mara?
Yeah, Woo World Wednesday.
Woo World Wednesday, we
Woos.
called it. Yeah, the
Okay.
woos. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go to
Woo,
Costa Rica.
US.
Woo! Yeah,
Oh,
or I'm
gotcha,
going to a
okay.
water park. Woo! Or we're going to Hawaii. Woo! Or we're going to, you know, whatever you're doing. Woo! Like the material world is filled with woo.
It's like the Wu-Tang Clan.
It's the Wu-Tang Clan. But the idea of our woo, our deep pleasure doesn't come from a woo. Our excitement comes from a woo. All the stuff we're talking about, and this deep spirituality, this deep connection, our regular things that we're doing on a regular basis, our sadhana, the food we eat, the people we hang out with, what we do on a regular basis creates our joy. Our spiritual, or connected to spirit, creates our joy. We're not interested in the woos of the world. And yeah.
Okay, you just
That's
ran out of
all.
enthusiasm.
The woos of the world. So I say, if you're feeling a little down, you're feeling a little depressed, pull over, read a chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. That's the real woo.
There
It's
you
right.
go.
It takes you right. It takes you right outside. Read the Chaitanya Charita.
Well, that's really
Read the
interesting, right?
Bhagavatam.
Because like we might hear, like I could imagine hearing advice that would be the opposite. In other words, okay, if you're feeling some sort of distress, some sort of anxiety, or some sort of thoughts of unpleasant thoughts,
Unpleasant thoughts.
then pick up the Bhagavad Gita and read it, and it'll help you. But what you're saying is, even if you're in the woo,
That too.
and-
That too. If you're in the
Right.
woo, then the Bhagavad Gita. But
Still.
if you're not in the woo and you're just in the dark, then read the
Bhagavad Gita?
too. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So,
right
but-
now, I'm in the, I'm in the woo. There's fruit everywhere.
Okay.
It's not really, I'm in the city. It's not really the woo, but I'm getting my teeth, like I'm going through trauma every day
Yeah.
with part of
Right.
dental surgery.
So you got both. You got
I
the
got-
woo
I
and
got the woo and the fruit, but
and the
either
woe.
way,
There's the
you-
woo and the woe.
Yeah. And like last night, we were like, okay, I had a whole day of like, yesterday was my biggest day, I think. I came back completely beat up. And by the way, great dentistry, but you know, it's your mouth surgery.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are we going to, and I just came home and slept because I was just so like exhausted. And so we were thinking, well, what should we do in the evening just to wind up the day? And the mind goes to, is there something to entertain me? And we said, you know what? Let's just study that Sanskrit course with Nityananda.
Okay.
So went on. Thank you. Were you clapping? I think
Yeah.
you were clapping.
Well,
Okay.
it wasn't like applause, but it's just like bingo. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. When the mind in the nighttime, the mind, right? We get the morning sadhana. That makes sense. Wake up early, eat, have a fresh squeezed orange juice, do some yoga, whatever it is. We get the morning, but the evening is very tricky because the evening sort of leans into tamas. You want to just forget about the day. You want to quote wind down. You want something to take the edge off. Get the edge
Okay.
back on. Get a spiritual edge in the evening.
Okay.
You know, wind it down, yeah, but in a high way. And you know what? That Nityananda, SanskritSense.com, I think that's his, right? Sanskrit. I love this guy.
Mhm.
He's just so good. And the thing is, you do get that whatever you need in the evening, a wind down. You know, you read the Krishna book, we do Sweet Baby Krishna, or we, you know, you read together, but some type of evening wind down. And then you go to bed with these divine thoughts in your mind.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So let's hear what Prabhupada has to say about this in the commentary. He's quoting Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Ooh, my luck at that. 15? 14? Okay, here's the commentary of text 14. It is in the material world, the auspicious.
Well, aren't you going to
and
quote the quote? Quote the quote
quote the quote?
in the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila. Antya means like the end.
Mhm.
This is a good little trivia thing. Not trivia, but people should
Antya.
know this. There's three parts of this Chaitanya biography. The Adi means like the very first, like the beginning. Govindam Adi Pursham. So that's the Adi Lila, or the early pastimes when he was a little baby. Then there's the Madhya. It's actually where we get the English word,
medium,
word nerds, medium, middle. Madhya. So Adi first, Madhya. And Antya is the ending pastimes, like towards the ends.
Mhm.
So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, right?
Chapter
So you know
4.
this is going to be towards the end of
Third volume, chapter 4, text 176. Right?
Yes.
Antya 4, 176. Yeah.
There's this. Here's the.
It is said.
It is said. Do you want me to do the Sanskrit or the Bengali?
You want me to just
Badra Badra Gyana Shabba Manu Dharma Ebala E Manda E Sabha Brahma. In the material world, the auspicious and inauspicious are simply mental concoctions.
Okay.
Because such things exist only due to association with the material world. This is called Atma Maya. This whole thing is quite amazing.
I'm telling you, it's a mystery of the universe revealed right here.
Mysteries of the universe have landed on our laps. Here I am with my mouth open. We're going to bring this back to dentistry with my mouth open, and it's creating, they're drilling, they're, Novocaine and stuff like that. And it's painful. And you know what I'm thinking in my brain?
What?
I'm thinking, you know what? I'm making it painful more by dwelling on it. I'm making it more painful. You know how much more painful this could get? This could get really painful. They're giving me Novocaine. I mean, they're giving me anesthesia, They're giving me anesthesia, and I'm still complaining? Give me a break.
I don't think it's anesthesia.
What is it? What is it? It's
anesthesia. They do have anesthesia for very little creatures. They have this anesthesia.
An ant for ants. They're giving me anesthesia. They're putting me, they're numbing me up, and I'm still complaining, right? So it's sort of like when we do that cold water plunge, and you're like, it's going to be cold, and you get in the water and you go, it's cold. You're making it more cold. Don't you understand? You can enter and not add meaning to it. You can just notice the sensation. But we do all this stuff in this world where we add extra meaning. If I say we're going to the beach, some people will kick their heels together. Other people who have traumatic experiences at the beach will be like, oh no, I hate the beach. I'm scared of the beach, right?
It's woo for one, it's woe for the other.
Kastuba. It's woo for one and woe for the other. And that
depending on how the mind is programmed.
Our samskaras and how the mind has been molded. So we should understand our molds and understand that we're not going into the world with a blank slate. We already have some predispositions, predispositional programming. This is one of the wonders of the universe. Stop adding extra meaning when there is no meaning there. You put the meaning that you need. You create the meaning for what you're about to go through.
Well, otherwise, you know what that's called? Go ahead, just say your otherwise.
Otherwise, we're stuck in this world of pleasure and pain is merely a mental concoction.
Right.
I love that statement by Prabhupada. We're just concocting that this is pleasurable.
That's where it's going on. In other words, it's not that the beach is pleasurable or not pleasurable. The pleasure or the woo or the woe has all to do with the programming within your mind. That's where it's taking place. It's concocted within the mind, right? So then, okay, well, if that's the choice, in other words, if my mind is programmed to respond to certain stuff as woo and certain stuff as woe, now I'm kind of like the victim of my mind. It's kind of controlling my experience. Whereas what the yogi says is now, that's functioning in what's called the manas, right? That impulsive part of the mind is programmed to respond. When it sees this, it responds automatically. So the yogi says, but there's another part of my mind called the buddhi, right? The intellect, and where the reasoning takes place. With that application, I can adjust the settings on the first application, right? With my intellect, with my intelligence, I can move into that manas and begin to say, hey, say woo for those things that are actually beneficial for me, right? Like respond favorably. Like, in other words, begin to train your own mind to respond first, to accept, and ultimately it will find pleasure in those things that are simple and that are beneficial for you. Rising early, the cold plunge, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah, eating simple food, healthy foods, nutritious foods.
You
Appreciating the morning
won't
sun.
be enjoying life any less. You'll actually be enjoying life more, but just in a different way, in a sattvic way.
In a sattvic, and this is what it all goes to. And I'm about to ruin Kelly Skinner's life right now. You ready?
No.
Kelly Skinner, Jyoti Ma, regular Zoomer. I love her, but he's going to be ruined. And so, and all you other people.
You're going to snowboarding.
I'm going to skiing. She's a skier. She's a Vermont skier, and she's good. She trained. She was in the Junior Olympics, all that stuff. And some of you guys, if you're into like these passionate sports, meditate on it like this. Where do we find our pleasure from? And Kaustubha said, we find them in Raja and Tamas often. We're what the Bhagavatam is, and I'm in there too. I get it. I'm in there too. But I'm saying all of our pleasures that are coming from Rajas and Tamas are coming from where? Just like look at, for example, let's go clothes shopping. That sounds fun, right? Clothes shopping. Where does it come from? Is it from actually purchasing the clothes? No, it's this idea of how I will wear these clothes. They will look good on me. People will think I look good. I look good in my own mind. It's not tangible. It's all created in the mind. I'm going to go out and wear these cool clothes and be cooler. And it's either
be cooler,
right? And be cooler, right? It's
Feel
all
cool.
Either ego or what other people think of me, right? And so that exists really much in the skiing industry, snowboarding industry, or, whatever, boating, stuff like that. There is sattvic way to appreciate outdoors and, and cold weather, but I'm going to just push it towards the Rajas and Tamas way. Okay. So when I'm buying snowboarding pants or skis, there's a hope that I'm going to buy this new board and these new boots. They're going to feel good.
Going to look cool.
And they're cool. They're the color I wanted. I wanted a white pair of pants. They've got this new, and the new season's got this out. And there's the hope to actually enjoy this. It's not actually enjoyable. It's the hope to enjoy it. Then there is the planning. Okay, and we're gonna go to Killington, and that's gonna cost a crap load of money, by the way, on the side. And we're gonna get a house at Killington. We're all gonna rent a house. We're gonna meet and it's all in the planning of the vacation, right? So yeah, that takes up a lot of time, energy, and resources. It's not even tangible yet. It's just the planning. And then you're telling your friends, hey, we got a ski house at Killington. Isn't that great? Boom. So that's more just telling people, Rajas and Tamas. You see where I'm going with this? The very little time
is actually on that slope.
Is on the actual slope. It's a lot at the bottom, getting settled, getting your locker, eating some food is on that slope. Now, the slope itself, being outdoors, is very sattvic. And plus, again, you're going at breakneck speeds. Literally breakneck speeds. You know what I mean? So with passion comes some pain. That's part of it. And the pleasure is much more mental. Where's Jyoti Ma? Is she out there right now?
She's there. She's taking note as you
taking notes. Okay. So I'm not here to ruin everyone, but here's what the Bhagavatam does. It ruins sometimes
the woo,
our past conception of pleasure, and makes us pull back and enjoy we will get essential pleasure. It's there anyway. It's not like by the way, I'm guilty of this too. I've planned snowboard trips, but the idea is that if oftentimes it's a much over endeavor and it is a big mental concoction a lot of the times. And what we're doing is now we're seeing through these Vishnu goggles. We're not saying sit at home and twiddle your thumbs. Connecting with nature is sattvic pleasure. That's one thing I will say, snowboarding it's like, okay, otherwise I was just going to sit inside and do nothing. Now I'm going to be outside. That is the real pleasure of being outside when it's freezing cold out. Can we unmute her for a second? I would like to hear Kelly. Just for a second, Kelly, just give us some feedback. Yes, today's your lucky day.
I still like it though.
It's like, I wish I knew I would have worn something special. You look fine. Your hair's great.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. I hear what you're saying. We've had this conversation before, and I believe you're right in many ways. And
wrong
like
in
I
other
said,
ways.
like
Very
I said,
wrong in other ways.
I live in the mountains, so I don't have to plan
Yeah,
the
there you go.
rent the house and those things. But I do, as you said, I did just get a new pair of a whole like white matching outfit. I was like, crap, I did that. However,
I got you on that one.
you know, when I'm
I read your mind.
and I was like, he said white too. I got white pants.
I called your
when I'm
mom.
actually skiing, I'm not thinking about anything else. It's like a time where I'm so present because it's like walking for me because I've been doing it for so long. So I'm
all right.
able to dial in and
It's her yoga.
Well, that's called the flow, and that's called sattva. That's called sattva. She's doing it in a sattvic way where it's not right.
Yeah. And then there's moments where I like ski by people and I'm like, oh, like make sure I do a really good turn here. So like that's not
okay.
you know.
Okay.
So
But the day may come, Kelly. It's not. I think the conclusion is, it's not the most sinful thing you're doing in the world. This skiing.
No,
Certainly
That they're far
not at
greater.
all.
But
No,
the
she's
day may
got a lot more
come.
sinful things going on than that.
The day may come when Kelly just says, you know what, enough of the skis. That may come. That may
It
come.
doesn't have. It doesn't have to, Kelly. It doesn't have to.
Where your heart becomes like, and your mind become like just like where you can't take them away from your direct focus on the pastimes of sweet baby Krishna.
I got an idea, Kelly. Here's a better idea. Because you might not be able
Better
to
than that?
Better than that. How about a Krishna conscious ski trip, a sweet baby skiing trip,
Totally.
a Krishna conscious ski
All right.
vacation.
Let's leave it
Okay,
there.
and all the
That'll work.
jujitsu guys are lighting up the board too. They're saying the same thing with jujitsu. Yeah. Anyway,
Thanks for letting me share. Haribol.
Thank you. Hey, and I'm so glad you're coming to Italy.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got to go. It's 7:01. But I'm glad we had her talk.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you're
Takeaways.
hanging out with Karuna to give Karuna's dad a break.
I think those two dancing together, I want to see that.
Karuna
Kelly's got her
and
own
Kelly
style.
Skinner.
Yeah, Kelly's got her own style. It's kind of like
I
this.
think
the push
Amita's
away
coming
style.
too. Is Amita, are you coming to Italy? No, she's not. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. I pulled her out of nowhere. Oh, you know who's coming is Krishna Drew. She's coming to Italy.
Awesome. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Such good
Let's get her in the kitchen on her vacation.
yeah, sure. All right, it's time for takeaways.
Okay.
All right, I got a lot of good stuff today.
A lot of good stuff here to take away, to bring with you, put in your pocket, bring to the dental office.
The first step of spirituality is gratitude.
Okay.
First step.
Start with thanking.
First step. Take her out and treat her like a lady. Who is that? I say that a lot, that one. Is that Kenny Loggins?
I don't know what it is.
Somebody
Let's
knows.
just get the takeaways.
Just ignore it. Start with thanking the sun.
What?
Start
with thanking the sun.
You said that.
Okay, I said that. Thanking the sun. Okay, yes.
Find the magic in nature.
Find it, Raghunath. It's there.
I'm the magic in nature.
Appreciation is a practice.
Mhm.
Appreciation. That was a Shelter song.
Freedom comes from simplicity.
Sure does.
We're only here a few days.
Yes.
Okay, a little more
Teardrop.
sober.
Teardrop.
A grateful mind is a great mind.
There you go.
Grateful mind is a great mind.
Which attracts itself to great things.
Gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder.
That's the Prince of Paradox.
Say that again.
Gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder.
Say his name, Kostuba. Say his name.
GK Puffin stuff. What was it again? I gotta go find it. GK Chesterton.
We've lost Ragu.
Orville Redenbacher. I forget.
Did you say HR puppets?
Okay. Mara, please give us any other
All
takeaway.
right, we got some more. Our deep pleasure doesn't come from a woo.
Oh, that's good too.
Broken us. Just either pull it together or get out of the way. Okay, one of the two.
The mysteries of the universe have landed on our lap.
That's
I love
right.
that statement. I love that statement. That is a great Wisdom of the Sages shirt.
Okay.
Sweatpants.
Woo for one is woe for the other.
I
Mhm.
love that. Woo for one is woe for the other. Mental concoctions.
Stop adding extra meaning.
Stop it.
Beware the slippery slope of Rajas and Tamas.
HR Puffin stuff. Say his name.
Who is HR Puffin stuff?
You don't know what HR Puffin stuff is?
I don't know. I can't.
You don't
think
know
of
what
it.
HR
Somebody
Puffin?
put it up.
Jeff
on-
Eisenberg knows.
Who is that that gave it on Wikipedia?
What is
it's
it?
on Wikipedia. He's a crazy, gigantic puppet. That was a TV show when I was
No,
a
Greg
kid.
Gasu.
Okay.
You know it because you said it. Oh my God. It was a very creepy acid trip of a puppet.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for joining us for the HR Puffin Stuff reunion, discovering the treasures of the universe. Oh. A big treasure chest t-shirt. Wisdom of the Sages, treasures of the universe, landing on our laps. What a great show today. There was a children's show, man. The things they let children watch back then, it was so insane.
Sigmund and the Sea Monster.